Warning: the following podcast has been rated listener R due to strong language, violent situations, drug references, sexual innuendos, and who knows what else. Listener discretion is advised. With that being said, hang on, sugar tits, because we're about to get wobbled.
Hey guys, you're back with Let's Get Wobbled podcast again. So, episode 7 is a part 2 to episode 6. I wanted to break it up because, like I said, I just had so much content to get put out. I didn't want to drop it all in one episode. So, to start you guys off with this episode, like I said before, we're going to talk a little less about training, a little bit more about us again. We kind of lean into paying it forward, still finishing up about the training topics and stuff that we went through. And then we start talking about us as people and how him and I had met, first impressions of each other, things like that nature. And like I said before, we really just lean into it and really have no end goal in mind. We don't have a topic. We just kind of go, hence the name of the episode be story time. So once again, guys, if you just want to lean into it with us, enjoy this podcast. I hope you guys like it and stay wobbled for me.
It's those lessons. It's the training
It is.
that we went through today or this week that's opened our eyes to that. Also, on the same note, I find myself paying for people's stuff too. So, I mean, I do have a good heart, and here we go. We're falling back on, patience, common sense. It's kind of my uh enemy sometimes, but I do try to do the right thing too. And it personally makes me feel better. Pay it forward, man. Hey, um, you walk into a fucking restaurant, pay for somebody's damn meal.
I do it all the time, and I don't even question it because so many people have done it for me.
Right.
I go through the McDonald's drive-through. Now, granted, I don't do it every time, but there's a lot of times I'm like, "What's the guy's? How much do you owe behind me?" And they tell me, and yeah, if I have the money in my wallet, because I really don't want to run my card twice, but
Yeah.
I will if it is what it is. But
It's amazing how it just pops up though.
yeah,
Just out
just
of
pay
nowhere.
it forward.
It's like, you know what? I kind of feel like I want to pay this dude behind me's meal. It comes up.
Right.
Why ignore that?
If he's having a shitty day, that makes his day great.
Right.
If he's not,
there's
if he's having a good day, that's fine. He's still appreciative of it. Nobody's ever bitched over free food.
Hell
Like
no.
today, they were like, "Hey guys, there's free food out in the lobby." I said, "Say less." I hogged out. I didn't give two shits.
You just why not listen to that little thing? And everybody, no, I'm telling you, everybody gets that little voice every once in a while of trying to guide them on doing something that they could do right. They could be impactful and not even know it. Paying for that dude's meal behind you could be a huge thing for that dude that day.
And next thing you know, you start a chain. So if that dude's not having a bad day, you've paid for their meal. They pull up to the window, "Hey, your meal's paid for by the guy in front of you."
Yep.
Well, go ahead and pay for the dude behind me.
Yep. It starts a great thing. So the point is, this is what this week has done. It has taught even me. You don't know what that person is going through. All we know is that we have a chance at helping that person, and it's kind of ironic, kind of weird, really, ain't it? In our profession,
Right?
What we do, what we're expected to do, but we're coming out of it as in, what can we do to help somebody?
It's our end goal. But like I said, I'm super excited to figure out a scenario that I can get into in the real life where I can use this, just to see. Like honestly, the scenarios that we did tested what we've learned, and I felt like I did really good with them. Now, not having a partner to tag out on if you're out in public or having you can't tag out on
bullshit. You're picking up your motherfucking phone and you're saying, "Stevens,
I'm not calling you to Cambridge."
The fuck you ain't. Why wouldn't you? Like, if all I'm doing is sitting at home on my fucking ass doing a goddamn nothing, my buddy calls me and says, "Stevens, look, this is where I'm at. This is what I got going on. I really need you down here." 100%. Dude, I'm dropping my shit and I'm coming down.
Your wife is gonna hear this and have a knife
No,
at my
she won't.
fucking throat.
No, she won't, dude.
You spend too much time with Stevens anyways, your fucking Boy Scout meetings. 'Cause Kristen,
Actually, she's probably fucking relieved because before you, like, you know, she would probably say I'm stuck up her fucking ass. She's probably fucking relieved that, you know.
I'm not talking bad about your old lady, by the
Oh
way.
no.
It's funny that because I told Kristen, she understands Boy Scout meeting, and I'm so glad that she does.
Yeah.
Because it's like I told her, I said, for me to come out of work and decompress to somebody that works in the same profession is so much easier.
Yes.
And it's not that it's not important enough to tell her, but she understands. She gets it too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the times that she does come down to the house and she's waiting for me to get off work, it's already late. We're walking out the door at 10 p.m. We stay till 11 talking about Boy Scout meeting. By the time I get there, she's tired. I get
Mhm.
that. So I try not to run on her time.
Yep.
But at the same time, she gets it. And I'm so glad that she does and she understands. And
Yeah, because that helps you. That helps you by it helping you ultimately helps her, you know, because just by her understanding, allowing you to vent to me, get the shit off your chest is allowing you to go home free minded, good mood,
exactly. Little
not
does
dumping
that
on her.
know that you and I venting, and it may not even be that we're angry about anything.
No,
We're just
no,
like,
not
I feel
really.
like this shit kind of rubbed me the wrong way at work today.
Yeah.
Fuck, it felt different.
Yep.
But then you're not bringing that shit home.
Right, you're not bringing it home. So, it's a win-win for everybody at that point. And then that's something that's difficult about our profession. In normalcy, you should be able to come home to your family and your wife and vent, let them know about your bad day, what you went through, let them support you. It's not necessarily the case in you and I's um, profession. There's a lot of shit that we see and we deal with that we don't want to bring home to our family. I don't want to sit there and tell my wife why I'm pissed the fuck off because of what I observed and seen or dealt with.
Right.
She doesn't need to know that stuff. Neither do my kids. By allowing that, Boy Scout meeting, briefing, um, whatever you want to take it as, we dump on each other. We can handle it. We understand each other.
Right.
We know what we're dealing with, and it allows us to go home and
Clear minded.
clear minded. And we're not getting yelled at,
Right.
by our women. We're not dealing with all that extra stuff. It's a healthier situation, all in all. So yeah, I'm glad she's on board. I mean, my wife's on board too. She kind of gets it. I'm not as detailed as you are. Maybe I'll pick that up from you sometime.
What do you mean detailed?
Detailed. You speak to her pretty thoroughly. You talk to her. I struggle with that. I think that's because of how I grew up. Um, and I noticed that on little things, and I noticed that talking to you of the things that you do express to her. Like, you know, I like to think I'm an open book to my wife, but I don't express it to her like that. You know, I'm more reserved. I don't give as much info as I necessarily should. We've been together long enough that she understands. Um, she may not agree with it, but she understands. And when I keep it simple, as in, because let's face it, regardless, babe, an hour after you got off, really, what was you doing? Well, the same thing I always do. I'm out there talking to Elliot or Ludwig, whomever. I'm talking to them. I'm not doing anything wrong.
Right.
And that's what I immediately go into. And in your scenario, you more freely explain to Kristen,
Good thing you
Christian,
fucking saved that one, bud. Let me tell you,
Kristen.
don't stop the train. But I think I told you this when Kristen and I got together, and the day that I asked her to be my girlfriend. You ready for this shit? I'm about to drop this too. She's gonna be fucking excited that I did. I got her a card and some flowers. I took a comp day. She didn't know I was coming. She had a rough day at work. I comped out, went to Walmart, bought some flowers and a card. chocolates, sunflower seeds, their favorite thing.
Goddamn, dude.
Now,
yeah.
hold on. I thought brownie points, right? Right?
Yeah.
I spelled her name wrong on the card.
Oh. Oh.
I was in a hurry because her dad was standing outside watching me. So I'm like hurrying up, trying to scribble this in, flip the front of the card. I'm like, that'll be cool. I'll dot the I with the heart. Just a little something in there. I fucked. I put it.
Oh,
I
man.
spelled her name wrong on the card. Then I didn't realize it until she pointed it out. And she's like, I hope you know I'm keeping this forever just because you spelled my name wrong. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
It's fucking horrible.
I mean, I can't let you go out like that. Like, look, listen, and it's an honest thing, really. My wife, her name is Natasha. Natasha. Very rarely do I call her Natasha. If it's anything at all, it's Tasha. You know, so we're getting ring. Look, right here. Matter of fact, I have it on my finger, and it's gonna be hard to see, but I have my wife's initials graved onto my wedding ring.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, and it currently says N as in Natasha, NMS. Where I fucked up, I didn't really fuck up, honest mistake, but I knew it immediately when I received this look. I put T. They said, "What initials do you want on that ring?" And I was like, TMS. Because to me, I always called
Tasha.
her Tasha,
Damn, son.
but it's really Natasha.
Right.
What's even more shitty about that is the crazy ex-wife's name started with T.
Oh,
So,
man.
dude, even though I was trying to do the
Something
right
cute. Yep.
thing, I'm like, you know what, wedding band.
How many bullets did you dodge that day?
My God, dude. I tell you what, she handled it like a champ. She really did. I think it was for the sake of, because this happened in Tennessee. You know, Tennessee's our jam. You know, that's kind of what bonds us together. Every time we go down there, we seem to be a little bit more um, into each other. You know, but happened down there, got this wedding band, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna put your initials and our wedding date on this wedding band. I even took it a little bit further, and I have tattooed her name on my ring finger. I care about this chick, really do. I
Right.
would never have done it. So all intentions were great.
Right.
Not one for 1 second was I thinking anything other than my wife. But it kind of went sour, even though it wasn't intentional.
Oh, mine wasn't either. I mean, I told her the story. I was like, I'm dead serious. I'm sitting here pouring my heart out in this card for you, and then your dad comes out to check on me and see why I've been sitting in the truck so long. I'm like, fuck, I don't have
You hurried
time.
up.
I'm running short on time, and
You
I
know how
hurried up.
many
and just,
different ways Kristen is spelled?
I know.
Like, come on, Kristen.
But before we get too far off topic, I want to reel you back in just a little
Yes.
bit because I don't want you to get away from this, and I want to give you a little nugget
Yeah.
on this. You were talking about me and Kristen and me being as open as I am with her.
Yeah.
And how difficult that can be for you sometimes. And
Yep.
I believe me, I get that because I was that way before in past relationships. But for me to tell Kristen, I am an open book.
Mm-hmm.
It is hard for me to open up about some of that shit.
Oh.
I am an open book. You may have to find the right pages, but if you want to know something, I'm going to tell you. And am I going to sit here and tell you that Kristen's never been mad that I've been at Boy Scout meeting before? She has.
Yeah.
She never expresses it because she knows how important it is to me.
Right.
To decompress and to get that debrief. The debrief is absolutely necessary.
Yep.
So she knows how important that is. Is it cutting into her time? Yes. Is she wanting to be selfish? No. She has concerns like anybody else would.
Right.
You know, she's driven all this way to come see me, spend the night with me. We're seeing each other from the time she falls asleep, which is 11 o'clock sometimes, an hour after I get off work. If she forces herself to stay up just so we can talk a little bit, that's great. She gets up early. I get up a little later. We have a few hours to talk, see each other before I'm back off to work again. It's tough.
Yeah,
It really
it
is.
is.
But I'm not afraid to, if she asks me what goes on to work, I'll scratch the surface. I'll give her a little bit of something good. Am I going to go into the details that you and I know? Probably not, because,
No.
like I said, you have to explain to somebody who isn't in that field so much more than for me to tell you 3 sentences. You already understand everything I went through. You
Right.
know.
Right. And then it's with a better understanding too.
Right.
It's
And it's not that I don't want her to know. It's not
right.
that I'm trying to hide it from her. It's
No.
just it's going to be easier for me. I've already decompressed
Yep.
this.
Yep. And then at the end of it, it's something I deal with on a daily basis anyway. So it's not impacting me by you letting me know your problem. It's just going to turn around and make me tell you my problem within that night at that place. We take that stuff home to them. It could put them on a whole different level of things. They could think differently. They could be a little bit more worried
Mm-hmm.
about us going to work. They could be worried about what we're getting from, if it's changing us in particular from who they know to whatever that day may be. We're saving them from all the questions, all the shit that they could get from it, just by simply just
Right.
let us have our, yeah, an hour, dude. Sometimes it's crazy, but we don't know it. But
Oh no, it feels like 5 minutes.
because it was an hour would mean that we had some stuff to talk about, but you're not running around. I'm not running around. We're just two dudes, we letting it off and we're heading home.
Right.
Like, it's mutual at that point. Like, yeah, I gotta go to my wife, or you better get home to Kristen. You better get home to your wife.
Yep.
So that's the little details that they don't understand either. We
We eventually come full circle back around and be like, "Fuck, do you know what time it is, man?
Yeah.
Fuck."
yeah, and then there's a hopefully we're not in trouble. But I mean, it's good. It's good. I'm glad she can understand it.
What I realized in this training, not today, it was Tuesday. They were talking about the self-care and how important self-care is, and that's what me and my dad talked about in the last episode. But fuck, when you get that fucking train moving and the fucking brakes just squeal.
Yep, I seen it in your head.
I
I
lost
seen
it.
it in your eyes. You went right from what we were saying. You had it pinpointed. You wanted to go right into it.
God damn. Singing about the bears and the ducks.
The
But
bears and the ducks.
that part. Oh, here we go. Train's rolling again. Here we go.
Choo choo.
How difficult do you think it would be? So let me ask you this question.
Okay.
You are not in the profession that you're in now.
If I'm not in a,
You're not in the profession that you're in now. You're
Okay.
back doing what you did before.
all right,
Your wife does what we do now.
okay,
Put me in the shoes that you're in outside of the world that we live. How worried would you be about your wife every single day when she went into work?
100%.
Every fucking
Every day. Yeah, you say that as in there wasn't an opportunity. Like our place, we hire nurses too, right?
Right. No. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is
No.
they told us in the training, they were like, it's not a bad thing to get into your significant other's shoes.
Right.
Because they worry about us from the time that we clock in to the time
Yeah,
that we clock out. Anything could happen at any moment.
Right.
And I sat and thought about that. It really struck me because I'm like, for me, I'm going in to do another 8. If I get froze, I'm going in to do a 16.
Yeah.
If you're doing a 16, the person that doesn't know what you're going through now has to double their worry for they have to do 16 hours instead of 8 hours.
Right.
And that kind of, it didn't blow my mind, but it just really opened me up to like, man, I didn't think of it that way. When I first started, I did, but I've been there long enough now, I feel that it's just another 8. I'm going in to do my job.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. But I'm still stuck on the fact there's no fucking way I would let my wife work there. No fucking way.
Your son. Your
Oh.
boy's your age.
Yeah.
You're your dad's age. Sorry, I'm not trying to pull your wife out of the scenario, but just to
There
try
you
to
go.
make it level for you.
Yeah, yeah. No, I get it. But yeah, you're right. Um, that's kind of that's what we're kind of touching on. It's very useful for us to be able to vent to each other than it is to take it home. They don't need to worry about that stuff. Yeah, if it was a worry, if it was a concern, as in it's affecting your health, I don't think I would have in that scenario. If I was confiding in you and I refuse to go to my wife, and I was in a situation like that, I have no doubt in my head that you want to take it upon yourself to go to my wife, or I would go to Chris and was like, hey,
Absolutely.
look,
As much respect as I have for you,
yep,
and know that what says between you and I stays between you and I off the mics
yep,
for your best interest. And it's probably the fire service behind me and but at the end of the day, if you're going through some shit and I feel like
you need
I
more
see
help.
that shit, I'm absolutely going to go to your old lady.
Yeah,
And are you going to be pissed off at me? If you want to be fine, I don't give a shit.
yep.
That's what the fuck I'm here for.
But that's the level we operate on.
Yeah.
That's where we're at. We know that, and I mean that's why that's that's why we're here right now. I think we both found that damn connection a long while back. Don't Can't really necessarily put my finger on exactly what it is at this point, but I've been through some shit, man, and I'm not a trusting person whatsoever. I'm especially being in my home, at my home, around my wife, talking to my wife. That stems through some bullshit that I've been through. But just the fact that you're on my porch. I've considered the fact of you going and grabbing my kids if I absolutely fucking need you to, you know. Um, and I wouldn't hesitate for you to be sitting here talking to my wife when I'm on my way home.
I told Kristen that, believe it or not. It's
So,
funny that you mentioned that because I told Steve or Kristen. I told Kristen, I said, I have absolutely no problem. If I had to be somewhere, if Stevens were here with you, I said, and it's hard for me to trust people like that, you know? Yeah, that's everything I've got, you know?
yep,
Let you jump on my Harley, go for a ride. I trust you with that. It's a bike. The bike could be replaced. But I fully trust you. If I ever needed, hey, can you, Kristen is dealing with something or needs some help with something, I just can't physically be there. I told Kristen, I said the exact same thing. And I said, I feel like Stevens would definitely be the same way for me because we had that conversation of me maybe having to take your kids to football practice, which would never be a big deal for me. I wouldn't mind doing it at all.
right.
But I told her, I said, it is so nice because you go so long without having those people that you can be that
Hmm.
close with.
Yep.
And then
Or
when you find that person
you might have had that person
and they
before
fucked it all.
and they fucked it up. Betrayed you. So that's even a stronger point to be made because like with me, I could have had that person before, and I got betrayed. I It's like, what the fuck? Are you fucking kidding me? And for me to re-allow that in, that speaks volume. And it speaks enough volume. And my wife knows. She knows I am not a trusting person, and she'll utilize that for me. What do you think of this person? Her best friend. What do you think about him? I'm often right about knowing what's up, you know, and she sees it. She goes, "You like Elliot, don't you? You trust him." I said, "Yeah, yeah, I trust him," and that's just as simple because you're on my front porch.
Right.
I just don't say, "Yeah, come over to the fucking house," because now,
That was like the first episode we recorded. You weren't even home. I came up. I was like, hey, do you mind? I'm gonna jump up here. Do you mind if I set my shit up? Go ahead. I'm up here on your porch, setting all the podcast shit up, and you're not even home yet.
right? Yep, and that's a speaks a lot. Glad I have it. I'm glad I have you.
So real quick, guys, before we get started into this next segment, for those who don't know much about podcasting and what it takes to edit, Stevens and I start talking about his first impression of me when we got into corrections in our first day working together. So when you record a podcast, you record everything that you and whoever else talks about. You record the entire thing. When you come back and you sit down to edit it, you take out the parts that just don't sound right, things you don't want heard, blank spaces, just dead air, right? So for some reason, I took out a portion of this next clip and I don't understand why it didn't save in there. It was a piece that I wanted to keep in there, but unfortunately it did not stay with the audio that I saved. It saved with the audio that I did not want. And just to clear up space on my laptop, I delete all the unedited original stuff, keep the edited stuff. So this one lands on me. This is my fault. To give you guys just a quick rundown, I didn't plan on working with Stevens the day that we had first worked together, but he tells me that he sees me come in, his original partner takes off for the day, and he's kind of feeling me out, figuring out who I am, and just from our initial conversation, he can tell what kind of person that I am, and he knows that I'm a genuine person. He says genuine a lot while we're talking. He can definitely get that vibe from me, and knows that I'm trustworthy. He understands that, you know, the kind of person that I am. And he really just he went on and on and on, and I can't even remember now what he said word for word, and it really upsets me because this guy opened up about who I was as a person. It was really important to me that I was hoping you guys would be able to hear it. And unfortunately, somehow I edited it out and I just cannot find it. I went through all my archives, I went through everything, and I cannot go to like a trash file and find it. It's gone. But just know that this next part that him and I are talking about is him and I talking about each other's work ethic, who we are as people, what we like about each other, and how our relationship really kicked off when we first worked together. Um, the first shift we actually did together.
I want honest, genuine people. Not the fucking friend that you do 300 fucking things for and you call him up one time and he's busy. I don't want that guy. You know, but the guy I don't even have to ask you. You call me, it's like, "Hey dude, look, me and my dad's running to the store. We're running to Sam's Club. Do you need anything? Need me to get you anything?" You know, at this time, and I still do. I drink the fuck out of rain. Like hell yeah.
I just know how difficult it is to do something on your day off, and I'm like, well, fuck, I know he has 2 different days off than me, so
Yep.
trying to
And
figure out, if I can do this all in one shot, by all means.
and here we go. Yeah, I realized that I owe you fucking $30.
It's
And
not. I don't give a shit about the money.
but
Your friendship to me is worth more than $30, so fucking chalk it.
yeah, it's simply the fact of because you're a good dude, you're an honest dude, you're a trustworthy guy. Um, and even from the months ago that I've seen that, um, it still sticks true to this day. You have not veered away from the kind of person that you are. And, you know, it was like I gotta have this. One way or the other, this dude's gonna fucking talk to me one way or the other.
I've
You
learned
know?
I've learned too in meeting people, and Kristen even told me because I was not supposed to be. Well, I'm not gonna say that because Kristen didn't know, but she had just gotten out of a relationship. She told me specifically at the dinner table, "I'm going to casually date," and I said, "That's fine. I'm not trying to push you into anything." But to get away from that, she saw on the bio where what I do in my spare time. I volunteer at a fire department. So that alone, where we work is alone enough for somebody to take in.
Right.
Then I dump the shit on you that I'm a volunteer firefighter for 3-4 years.
Yeah.
Then I dump on top of you I've been a motorcycle club member for 2 years.
Yeah.
That's a lot for people to take in, and I forget that sometimes.
Yeah. It is.
Somebody's like, "What? Where the fuck are you coming from?" Like Kristen was like, "You're supposed to be a rebound guy," and I fucking set that fucking hook, and I wrote it in.
Yep.
I
And
said, "I said, hey, when you're ready to be in a committed relationship, just let me know because I just want to be in line. I want to be a multiple choice answer."
and see, and I wanted to comment. I was letting you fucking go with it. You played that out like, I had this fucking badass snatch catch fucking thing, and me, I'm like immediately, I'm like, no, that sounds like something you would fucking say. You know, it that's the part with you. I don't think you got to think about shit. I think you're just smooth. You're It's because how you are. You are naturally honest. You're a I keep wanting to say genuine. That's not exactly the word. Um you're a loving person. You don't you come off that way. You
I am a very open person. I was raised that I'm not gonna shake your hand. If you and I are close enough, I'm giving you a hug, bub. That's
yeah.
just the way it is.
I
I've been raised that way.
Yeah, it's the hug thing. It kind of threw me off though.
I'm sure it did. It throws a lot of people off, but that just goes to show what kind of personality I have.
I feel weird about hugging my dad.
I never thought about that until I realized when you told me that the relationship you had with your dad,
Yeah.
and I played that moment. I was like, man, Stevens and I give each other the bro hug all the time because we're dudes, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I never once asked if he was comfortable with that.
Yeah, and that's for you, just so you know. Like, no. That answer to that question is no. I don't. I'm not a hugger. I don't. I feel weird hugging my dad, but I do hug my dad because I don't know if that's going to be the last hug or
Yeah.
not. Grandpa's uncles, cousins, older cousins. That's just how I knew it as. Don't fucking hug. So the first time you fucking went in for the hug like that, I'm like, this is kind of uncomfortable.
Let me get you in my bubble.
I don't know about this, but yeah, it's definitely a bro hug. It's um, it's the silent words that say, "You need me, call me.
I got you.
I got you." And I learned that. I learned that's how you meant it. That's why I'm okay with it.
Right.
I'm
I've
not
never come up to you sobbing and be like, I am here for you.
right.
It's never been
Right.
that. But it's always that's what we do at the club. That's what we do at the firehouse. That's what we as family do.
I'm not hugging. Just so you know. So this, you know, can you make it feel good about yourself
Right.
because I'm not hugging anybody else. I'm just not doing it. I personally am not like that. I will with you because that's the understanding that we have. Um, but I'm not doing it to another dude.
I'm
it's just
waiting for the day. There's gonna be a day where you come up and I see you start to go in. I'm probably gonna fucking tear up a little bit. But it hasn't happened yet, and I'm cool with that. I like I said, it's just the personality I have, and I want to flip the tables on you. You told me what you thought of me. So here's what I'm going through on that day. I'm in a post. I like the post. I'm ready to do my day. I'm an extra, actually. Captain calls me up. Elliot, got a dude calling off. He's comping out. He's having vehicle problems. You're going to kick it with Stevens. Like, fuck, there went my day. I'm not saying I don't know anything about you at this point. I've seen you in roll call. So I go down, introduce myself. And just by the look of you, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but I feel like you've got 3 years on me. I'm like, this guy knows the block. He knows what he's doing. I need to take notes on this guy. So I'm watching as we're doing our rounds, as we're working, watching how you're doing, what you're picking up on, what you see. And I don't know what sparked it, but I asked you how long you had in. What, 2 months on me, maybe?
Yeah.
Just
Like
about,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
My year will be up November 15th.
Mine was August 16th.
Okay, so very few months.
Yeah.
So I'm like, this guy's on my level. He's not somebody that I have to feel like he's gonna shun me, because we're there together. But my first impression of you was this guy's a stand-up dude. He's gonna tell me what he wants me to know, and he's not gonna hide anything from me. We're on the same page. We're kind of going through the same boat where we're still on probation, trying to just do us. I know this guy's not putting up a front, which I'm sure there's a shit ton of people out there that put up a front.
Mm-hmm.
I know this guy's genuine. I know this guy's legit. He's not gonna fucking spin me. He's a dude that I can see myself being around. Then I remember you were a regular. I was still extra. I loved picking the spots. They were fucking gravy. I knew what I was getting into on a day-to-day basis.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that on my Monday, there wasn't good spots.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, fuck it, I'm going to go kick it with Stevens. Because I know what this day is going to entail. And nothing to say bad about your partner. Your partner's a good dude.
Ludwig?
Yeah.
Only when he fucking shows
When he shows up to work. Military calls.
Yeah,
He's probably doing what we're doing, smoking cigars and drinking
that
beers.
motherfucker ain't doing nothing
He ain't
right
doing
now.
shit. Ice is a good dude. I'll drop his name. Hopefully he listens to this episode. He is a shitbag in the sense that he doesn't listen to my fucking podcast. Out of all the people that I'd want to, it'd be my fucking partner at work. Be like, hey, dude, check us out. He's like, oh, I just can't get into it, Elliot. Me and Willie Nelson like to jam on the way to work.
Or Elvis. I
He just that's
heard
his
him
jam,
fucking
dude.
listening to Elvis the
He
other day
loves
coming in.
Willie's Roadhouse, and he got pissed off because his fucking Sirius XM shit.
It
The
blows,
free trial ran
you
out,
wanna
so he
know
didn't have
what
to pay
blows
for
my
it.
mind? That blows my mind. That dude is what? He can't be.
He's 5 years younger than me.
He's rolling in listening to fucking Elvis. It's like, whoa, what the fuck? Is he really listening to Elvis?
Which don't get me wrong, that's good shit, but that's
I
not the
don't.
shit.
I'm not
This
with
guy
it.
religiously listens to the oldies, and I'm cool with that. But he's like, I asked him, I was
Cool.
like, up
It
in
is
the
cool.
up in the unit one day, I was like, what podcast do you listen to? He's like, I like Joe Rogan. I was like, yeah, I like Joe Rogan too, and Burt Kreischer and the OG comedy guys have been doing podcasting for a hot minute. He's like, I can't get into it when you're talking by yourself. And I realize now that it's super easy to have a conversation with somebody versus just trying to podcast by myself. But even then, I'm still like, hey, what'd you think of that last episode? I haven't listened to it yet, buddy. I just haven't got around to it. Like, motherfucker, you're my partner. Out of all the people that need to have my back, you are the guy. I'm looking at you.
Tell me what you think, motherfucker.
Yeah,
Listen
come
to me.
on. Listen to me.
Yeah. No, for real. It's kind of fucked up
Right.
the way that he hasn't.
Kristen told me, she goes, did you make this podcast just so other people have to listen to your problems? She didn't really say that. I'm lying. But I just want to make sure I said that because she'll come up to me and she'll be like, hey, listen, I didn't say that. Don't say that.
If it matters at all, I saved her from having to go get a new driver's license.
Did she lose it in the lazy river?
No, it was under her chair.
Yeah. Okay, right when we were leaving. I remember that now.
And I'm pretty confident in the fact of that we were walking away from that area.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We were walking away completely ready
And
to
for whatever
embark.
I would say for whatever reason, I have this thing. I don't know why. I don't know if I'm the only one, but like restaurants, your whole family gets done eating. I have a thing where we clean up our own table.
Yep, I'm the same way.
Yeah.
I never used to be that way, but then I was with somebody at the time that was in a restaurant setting.
Yep.
And she said, you just don't understand what this does. Stack the plates, put the cups together, put the silverware on top of the plates, move everything to one side of the table. You have no idea.
I never put it like in the sense of somebody that's worked in the environment. I'm not even so sure that I actually don't get two fucks. Really, I really don't.
I never
think
used to,
I think
but-
it's more for the way I want my family presented. You know what I mean? I don't. We have respect,
Right.
and I'm going to teach you that. You don't make a mess and not clean it up.
Right.
If we don't do it at home, we're not going to do it at somebody else's house. And we sure in hell ain't going to do it out in fucking public. You know, and I think that's what it was. Is I was looking back, and I was looking make
Just to
sure
see it. Yeah,
the
I know what you
chairs
mean.
were
now.
right. The fucking we weren't leaving any mess. Everything was picked up. It's kind of that habit that I happened to see that driver's license sitting under that seat.
Right.
But you know, she apparently has a problem of losing
Don't.
things. Kristen,
Keep your mouth shut, because I'm the one that has to deal with it. She's gonna be like, "You go tell Stevens to stay in his own fucking lane."
you go tell him to go fuck
That's
himself.
what she's gonna, and I'm gonna have to come to you and be like,
And
"Hey,"
I can see that.
with my tail tucked between my legs and say, "Hey, Kristen told me to tell you."
She'll probably tell me the next time.
her
she
favorite
fucking
her favorite saying is "Stay in your own lane."
stay in your own lane.
And I, when I first met her, I was like, "Listen, I don't know if you know this or not, but I pay taxes on both sides of the road." She goes, "Not in West Virginia. You don't stay in your own fucking lane." Put me
Yeah,
in check real fast.
You know what's shitty? Wait, hey, explain to me what a motherfucking toll road is.
A toll road,
What is a fucking toll
in my
road?
opinion,
What's it for?
you pay the toll. I mean, technically, it's supposed to with the upkeep on the roads and shit.
That's some bullshit. West Virginia's got a lot of fucking toll roads just to fucking get home. Yeah, I went through. How much money did I spend?
Probably went through if I'm
Like 4, I think.
well from Tennessee maybe. When I know when we go to North Carolina, there's 3.
Maybe it might have been 3. It was 3
Now,
or
granted,
4.
we're going straight south, but
Well, we came up from Tennessee. We went through Virginia, and then out of Virginia to West Virginia to come around to where we are.
it's fucking government. They just want you to pay
Went
for
through
shit that
fucking
you've
3
already.
toll roads. I'm like 3, like son of a bitch. What the fuck is this? And it was honestly, it was like, my wife was like, "Why do we gotta do this? Why we gotta pay these guys? I don't fucking know."
Is that what grinds your gears, Stevens?
toll roads?
Paying toll roads?
Yeah, that definitely grinds my gear. I don't get it. Like, seriously, I gotta pay you $4.50 fucking cents to fucking come through. That's absurd, man. That's some fucking ghetto ass shit.
That's funny. But I see your point though. I mean, show me where that money's going.
Probably going in one of them goddamn tellers' pockets. 2 for you, 2 for me. I know. I mean, I literally within an hour's time, I paid. Yeah, it was like almost $15.
I went to. This is a backstory I haven't told you. So the girlfriend I had before, her parents lived in Maryland. So we took a trip, went down for a few days, saw our parents in Maryland. We're driving back. It's dark. I just remember, for some reason, I had the GPS pulled up on my phone, quickest route, whatever. Somehow we got detoured off the interstate and hit a toll road, and there was no turning around. I'm screwed. Like, okay, whatever. We'll just pay the toll and go. Like $4.50 or whatever it was at the time. I reach in my fucking wallet. I pull it out. She's dead asleep. Open that motherfucker up. I've got $2 in my pocket. I'm like, man, I gotta scrounge up $2.50. So it's an automated one. There's nobody sitting at the thing. You just drop the money in the change in the basket, or you fucking slide the dollar bills in. Stevens, I get out of the fucking car and I'm looking under floor mats.
Oh shit!
I cannot get the money that I need to get through this fucking toll. And matter of fact, when you went through those tolls, so was there always somebody there?
Yes.
Okay.
Every
I told
toll
her,
went
I
through.
said, those are the only ones I've ever seen. There's been one that I saw that I just told you the story about where I'm scrounging up change to put it in the automated thing.
Yeah.
Kristen said there is a new thing now that all those people are losing their jobs, and the place or whatever, the toll place, is taking a picture of your license plate as you drive through, and at the end they just send you a bill. I said, I have never fucking once seen that. She goes, Clayton, I've never seen one that's not. I said, you're fucking lying to me. I said, every toll booth that I've ever went through always had some little old lady who could barely hold change in her fucking decrepit hand.
Yep.
But you gave her the money, and she gave you the receipt, open the thing. She said, it's never been that way. She said, I've always known toll booths, there's never anybody there.
Yeah.
I'm like,
there was
why
definitely
the fuck?
people, older people. Every toll I hit there was somebody, man.
It's funny that you said that because it just struck me up. I was like, God damn, I remember that.
Yeah, maybe because they're pocketing that fucking money is why they can't put the fucking fancy machines.
It's a possibility.
You know, I don't know.
But
I'm sorry about that, dude. That's kind of, and it's shitty because I like that route. You know,
right.
that's the
You were
first
telling
time,
me that it's a great bike route, and I would love to go down to Tennessee on the bike one time. I hope.
first time I took that route back home, man, and got the chance to go through Virginia. Um, and we haven't got to do that before. But the route that we took through Virginia and West Virginia wrap us where we are now. Dude, it was solid. And immediately, like I would want to be on a motorcycle on this route. You know, it would be enjoyable.
Right.
The scenic, the views, the mountains, the just the curves. It was nice. It's nice. I'm gonna have a bike, and we're gonna ride. We're gonna ride to some places.
I'd love you to. And if you get an American made bike, you know I'm going to talk you into getting into the Warhogs, which is going to suck because it's hard. In my eyes, it would be extremely hard to do with a family. Let me preference by saying I like the idea of having kids. Am I physically ready? No, I don't. I'm not there yet.
Yep.
But
Be
I would
patient, my
love
dude.
to. I would love to start a family and everything. But I tell Kristen all the time. I've never once asked her what she feels about it because I'm not ready. I know that I'm not. But I tell her all the time, I'm like, I just know that, get a kid and things change. So you can't ride the motorcycle like you used to. It's different. And I'm not ready for it to be different, but I eventually I would love to have infant stage, skip the 2s, 3s, go to 4s, 5s. That way I've got a
No,
daddy's girl or a daddy's boy.
yeah, you don't want them 4s or 5s neither, man. You want to go from infant to about 8 years old.
Your expertise on this, so fill me in, pops. What do you
100%.
what do you know, Dad?
Fuck all that shit in between. That's what I know. The attitude and the
My mom's boyfriend has a 4-year-old, 5-year-old.
that's your job.
Right.
You dictate.
Nobody can parent your kid but you.
No.
Nobody should be
No.
a
And
parent figure to your kid except for you. Do your job as a parent. I should
do your job, raise the child, and when that child becomes of a mature age and it I don't want to say it, the child is presenting maturity, then you allow them to start having opinions about things.
right.
But
I am the reason I am because of my mom and dad. Did my mom and dad make mistakes? Absolutely.
oh
No
yeah,
parent is perfect out
hell
there.
no.
If you find a perfect parent, let me find them, talk to them, and learn from them. But my mom and my dad made me who I am. And I no matter how many mistakes they made, I couldn't thank them enough.
Yep.
Because from day one, I was fucked.
Yep.
I don't know if I've mentioned this on the podcast or not, but I was born a twin. I don't know. Did I tell you that?
Yeah.
I didn't know if I told you that or not. Yeah, I was born a twin. My mom was pregnant with twins. My mom miscarried a lot before she had me. Was pregnant with twins with me. And the running joke of the family was that I ate the other one. And I don't know because I don't remember. It's a possibility. But, I always feel like I look back on that a lot and I think that this world probably couldn't handle two of me. Let's be honest. But I am obviously here on this planet for some reason. I very easily could not have been. It very easily could have been me that didn't make it.
Yep.
So why am I here? What is my purpose in this? There's a reason I made it, so let's find a purpose out of all of it.
Yeah.
And that's just I always ran from that,
The purpose will fall into your life.
Right.
It's one day you'll realize after it's already begun that's your purpose. Um, but yeah, it's it's weird world that we live in. When it comes down to it, the parenting. You're right. Like There's a lot of things I fucking don't want to tell my dad thank you for, but there's a lot of things I can tell him thank you for.
And it doesn't have to be a, hey, thank you for being a dad.
Yeah.
It can be, hey, thanks for teaching me the shit I shouldn't do. And I'm
Right.
not trying to speak on your behalf
No,
because
no,
I
you're
really
good.
don't know, but
Exactly. Right.
it's it doesn't matter whether you learn good or bad from that person. You learned something.
Yep.
You took something from that. That's valuable. No matter how it got taught to you, that's valuable. You can have somebody tell you, hey, don't touch that electric fence because it's going to hurt.
Yeah.
Let me touch it.
Mhm.
I'll learn more from I'll learn
Everybody's-
more from touching it.
Everybody's got to touch
Quick
that damn
story about an
fence.
electric fence, real quick, and then we got to get wrapped up.
Yep.
My grandma owns a lot of land, has a big property. Her house is on one side of the road that sets up on a hill. She overlooks on the other side of the road 2 pasture fields, a meadow, and a pond off in another field. Shit ton of land. As kids, we loved playing in the creek. We would go and just swim around in the creek and shit. And she told me, she said, leave the gap in the electric fence open when you guys go through. The cattle won't be around. You'll be fine. But I was always told, up until that point, to close the gap because the cattle were in there. So I go through the gap, close the fence. I walk over, and there's a bank that we have to go down into to get to the spot we want that's deep enough. Now, we could have walked clear up the other side of the creek, come through the shallow end to get to the deep end where we wanted to be. I'm like, nah, it's cool. We'll just climb over this bank. I remember this like it fucking happened yesterday. I can taste it just talking about it. I'm standing up on this hill bank. I know that there's an electric fence between me and the water, and there's a drop that's probably 7, 8 feet. So I'm going to cross the fence here. I'm going to walk the fence line to where I can get down into the water. But my grandma told me the fence won't be on because you left the gap open.
Yeah, that click.
I didn't leave the gap open.
Uh-huh.
So Stevens, I'm not shitting you. I'm straddling this electric fence.
Oh, man.
I lose my balance. What's the first thing I do?
Touch the fence.
I grab a hold of that motherfucker with both hands and scream like a little girl.
Hell yeah.
I can hear. I'm telling you, I'm clear out in the pasture. I can see the house, but I can't see them sitting on the porch. I can hear my dad and my grandma laughing hysterically on the porch.
Yeah, it's a funny thing.
Tell me not to touch the electric fence, but I'm gonna go find out myself.
Yeah, I try. We got electric fence right here beside our property. I have tried to get my kids to touch because I want that laughter that like they were laughing at you when you fucking touched it. It's not gonna kill you.
My family has a Twix system. I wish I would have talked about this to my dad because he would know the most about it. But my dad was like that.
Yeah.
Let me learn you by showing
you. Yep.
So, one more story, I promise, and then we're done. My grandma used to cut my dad's hair back when he was a kid, obviously. So, I asked my grandma, at the time I was getting my head shaved, but I let my hair grow out a little too long, and she was going to trim me up and give me a buzz cut. So, Stevens, this is a family function. I'm at my grandma's, so my grandma, grandfather, uncles, aunts, cousins, we're all here, sitting out on the porch, playing cards, we're having fun, whatever. Grandma's like, yeah, I'll cut your hair. I'm not playing cards right now. Shit, I'll come out and cut it. Dad goes, well, you might as well take your shirt off. I'm like, what do you mean take my shirt off? She's just going to cut my hair. Dad's like, yeah, when we were kids, you got to take your shirt off because she's going to drape a cloth around you anyways, keep the hair off your shirt. I'm like, huh, that's logical. Yeah. Take my shirt off. I'm sitting in the chair and Dad goes, might as well take your pants off. I'm like, come on, Big Mike, you're fucking with me now. He's like, Clayton, we were all kids. We all grew up together. You can ask my uncle, my brother. You can ask anybody. We used to sit here on the porch in our underwear and get our hair cut as kids. I'm like, why? He's like, you don't want the hair on your jeans. She doesn't want that tracked in her house. So there I am in this plastic white chair in my tidy whities. And my grandma walks out on the front porch and goes, what the fuck are you doing? I'm like, what do you mean? She goes, you're damn near naked. I said, well, Dad told me that's what you guys used to do. My dad turned purple laughing so hard at
That's
my
great.
fucking ass.
Yeah.
He laughed so hard. Oh my God, my uncles were laughing at me, and there I am just sitting in my skips on the front porch.
Motherfuckers.
You sons of bitches.
Yeah, see, this is what
I learned from experience, though.
That's the stuff you're going to carry on to your kids.
I will. I'll carry that on forever.
For sure. You know, with me and electric fence, man, my first encounter with electric fence is not understanding why that motherfucker shocked me one day without tennis shoes on. You know, I walked by that fence several different times, touched that damn thing several different times, never once got hit by that motherfucker. You know, like this electric fence don't ever fucking work. And was out there fucking messing around, playing around, and bare feet touched that son of a bitch and lit me up, man.
No shit.
Yep. But yeah, I've not purposely touched an electric fence after that. Obviously,
You learn extremely fast.
You learn very quick. I've been trying to get my kids to learn that, you know, but they're apparently smarter than what we were.
You raised them right.
They're like, no, you said you call that an electric fence for a reason. Like, what do you mean? It is, yeah, fuck, I did call it electric fence, but just touch it, you know.
I just want to watch your pain. I want you to learn like I fucking did.
Right.
Well, listen, man, I appreciate you so much. It is past midnight now, but it's so easy for us that I found that we sat and talked about a lot of topics that we could have done, but I told Stevens, I said, it's probably not a bad idea that we just talk some shit. Because that's what we do best.
Yep.
And the true unedited ourselves came out today, and I thought I had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah,
and,
for sure.
But I do appreciate you, and I same thing I told my dad and the previous guys that I've had on. I appreciate you listening to the podcast. It means a lot to me. The podcast numbers aren't as great as they could be, but I'm reaching more people than I ever thought I would.
We just
my
want
first
listeners.
episode got 100 people.
Yep.
Like I don't even fucking know 100 people.
No.
And then I look at my analytics and I'm being heard in Australia.
Yeah.
Fucking Ireland. And England. I'm like, what the fuck? I don't know anybody from out there. I never have. I never will.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy how fast the word can spread and how somebody finds you. But I appreciate all the listeners. Stevens, again, I appreciate you. We'll definitely do this again sometime. I'm not going to tell you, well, I hope we do, because I know we will.
Yep, for sure.
But once again, guys, thanks again for listening. Steve, send us out.
Stay wobbled.
Stay wobbled. Have a good one, guys.